Jeff. Really interesting development. If you'd drawn up a list of expansion city candidates 12 months ago, Nashville were probably near the bottom of that list, I'd warrant. So what has changed in the intervening year?
Well, what's happened is that Nashville has put together a very compelling bid. If you listen to MLS long enough on these expansion issues, they always talk about the market, the ownership group, and the stadium plan. And Nashville's ownership group is really impressive. It's backed by two billionaires with the B. First you've got John Ingram, who's the lead investor. He has local ties, and MLS loves that. And then you've also got the Wilf family from the NFL's Minnesota Vikings, who have also come on board. And so that's given this bid a lot of financial muscle. And, I think for MLS that was really compelling. What was also compelling was the stadium plan. They found a site on the Fairgrounds, Nashville. The city kicked in $225 million in financing for the $275 million project. Again, MLS loves when the local community steps up and provides financing for these kinds of things. Now, the market is a little bit unproven. There have been some one-off events like the Gold Cup, and then some friendlies featuring foreign clubs that have drawn really well. Obviously, that doesn't quite compete with what, say, Cincinnati and Sacramento have done, but it's a growing city. It fits a part of the national footprint that MLS has been trying to capture for a while now. So I think when you add the location, the ownership group, and the stadium plan, you've got a bid that I think was probably the most complete out of the four finalists.
It was supposed to be a time of year where MLS announced two expansion cities. There's only going to be one announcement. What's the situation with the second, and where would you rank Cincinnati, Detroit, and Sacramento right now?
Well, there will be a second team announced. Exactly when that's going to happen, whether that happens before the Christmas holiday or whether MLS waits until after, that remains to be seen. But in terms of ranking, I would say Detroit is kind of a distant, fourth out of these group of four. They have a very powerful ownership group, Tom Gores and Dan Gilbert, but their solution for a stadium has not exactly sat well with MLS. They're opting for Ford Field, and MLS is very much all about, soccer-centric stadiums, if you will. So that leaves Sacramento and Cincinnati, and at this point, I would put Cincinnati just a hair ahead of Sacramento. Now, Sacramento was the front runner for quite a while, but some questions have emerged about their ownership group, the extent to which they're willing to fund everything. And also for Sacramento, over time, the costs have gone up. When they started this journey in 2014, the expansion fee was $70 million. The cost of the stadium was about $180 million, and those costs have definitely gone up. The expansion fee is almost doubled, or actually more than doubled, and the stadium cost has gone up to about, from what I'm told, $250 million. So, those issues have kind of tripped Sacramento up a little bit. There are some questions still about Cincinnati's stadium plan. They don't quite have it buttoned down. They're going ahead with the Oakley site in Cincinnati, but there's been talk that they could pivot away from that if that was necessary. So, for both Sacramento and Cincinnati, really compelling bids, but there's still some things that need to be taken care of. But at this point, I would put Cincinnati just ahead of Sacramento.
They'll be waiting with bated breath, Jeff, for that announcement.